Hi, my name is Mia Shelton, and my research was on the belongingness of transgender students on college campuses, with a specific focus of the impact of professors introducing their personal pronouns in the classroom setting. First, let's define what belongingness means in this context. Belongingness is the experience of feeling like a necessary part of an environment or system and is considered a basic human need essential for physical and psychological well-being. This finding has been long established among the canon of psychology literature. Belongingness is of a specific importance to the LGBTQIA+ community. This population shows a higher rate of mental health diagnoses when compared to straight cisgender peers. However, this finding is more nuanced and complex than it may seem at first glance. Discrimination, victimization, and stigma against minority communities create a mentally taxing social environment that leads to the mental health disparities faced by minority populations. Several studies have verified this finding. Studies have also addressed the over-pathologization of a marginalized community's normal responses to discrimination and violence. However, minority stress experiences were reported to be less of a psychological barrier when non-binary students felt a sense of belonging on their college campuses in a study conducted by Budge et al. In 2020. It is important for gender diverse college students to feel a sense of belonging, not only because it impacts academic achievement, but also because it affects suicide rates. According to research conducted by Valentine and Shepard in 2018, depressive symptoms, suicidality, interpersonal trauma exposure, disordered substance use, anxiety, and general distress have been consistently higher among transgender and non-binary adults. My research aimed to answer the question, does the act of professors stating their personal pronouns and asking students to state theirs when introducing themselves on the first day of class impact students' sense of belonging and perceptions of faculty's acceptance of diversity in the classroom? It was hypothesized that professors stating their pronouns would be associated with higher belongingness and diversity acceptance scores. The methods employed by this study were convenience and snowball sampling. Professors from Meredith College were emailed to reach out to their students through email and Brightspace with messages asking to participate in this study. In total, there were 68 participants ages 18 to 22. Less than 10% of the participants of this study identified as any gender other than woman. The sample was representative of the Meredith population in terms of racial and ethnic diversity as well. Before filling out the online survey, participants were asked to give informed consent and were asked several demographic questions. Before they could fill out the online survey, the demographic questions were asked, what is your racial and ethnic identity? What is your age? What is your major in college? And what is your year in college? And at the end of the survey, they were asked their gender identity and the sex that they were assigned at birth. This was to prevent participants from knowing what I was looking for in my study and giving biased answers. The online survey consisted of 2 transcripts of a hypothetical professor introducing herself. One included her pronouns and asked students to share theirs, while the other did not mention pronouns at all. The results of this study showed that through paired sampled t-tests used to analyze the data, the transcript with pronoun use yielded significantly higher belongingness and diversity acceptance scores compared to the transcript that did not mention pronouns. This is a graph to represent my findings. As you can see, the pronouns usage columns are higher than the no pronoun usage columns. While my study did not examine solely transgender, non-binary, and genderqueer students, it showed that all students, regardless of gender, showed higher belongingness and perception of faculty's diversity acceptance when pronouns were used. This tells us that faculty pronoun use led to greater belongingness and diversity acceptance among all students, regardless of gender. Furthermore, this is a promising intervention that needs exploration. It is easy to implement among college and university settings. Some of the limitations of this study included that there was only mostly women in the sample. Future studies could examine larger public co-ed universities, include more transgender, non-binary, and genderqueer students, look at how long the effects of this intervention last in a longitudinal study, and study the impacts of professors using pronouns in their email signatures, on their syllabi, or on other learning platforms such as Zoom. The results of this study showed that the simple intervention of professors mentioning their pronouns when introducing themselves on the first day of class made all students, regardless of gender, feel a significantly greater sense of belongingness in the classroom. It also revealed that significantly more students had perceptions that faculty were accepting of diversity in the classroom when pronouns were introduced. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Please let me know if you have any questions at this moment, or if you have questions after the presentation, you can email me at mshelton@email.meredith.edu, which is listed on the slide. Thank you.